Welcome back to another video. It is a rainy Saturday in Connecticut, like every Saturday in Connecticut has been lately. So we built a garage. Now we got a 4 garage property and we're wrenching. So use these in here. We're swapping the oil pan, so gonna drain oil, do all that. I'm honestly gonna try to just do it on the motor hoist because I don't feel like taking that engine off the stand and doing all that and then putting this big old V8 on that tiny engine stand. But yeah, drop the pan off, a bunch of bolts down there, and the one inside, well, in the garage, is soaking in some kerosene, getting all the sludge off. It's gonna look real nice, so wipe it down, some new gaskets, gasket maker, and yeah, I really haven't shown this car at all since I brought it here. I brought it a month, 3 weeks ago, I don't know, but yeah, it's been here. I painted the whole front silver, so I'll show you that shortly, but we're gonna get working on this and I'll catch you up more shortly because it's wrench time. Some nice kerosene soaking parts to start the day. And welcome back. Yesterday I didn't do a whole ton of filming, so today I'm going to try to do a little bit more. But we built this little hobo shack to work on the motor here, and I got to put the stands up because right now it's super low. But got the transmission off, I got all the bolts like off the pan, but there was a whole ton of sealer down there, so I just left it on because kind of ran out of time. It was getting late in the day. But the plan is today, get the pan off, clean everything up, swap on the new pan, and then hopefully drop the motor in the car. There is like a little spot on the transmission that the bell housing was cut to make the UZ headers fit. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna use, probably some JB Weld or something, just to make like a little patch panel so that it's not exposed to the elements and have schmutz getting in the clutch and flywheel and whatnot. But gonna get wrenching. I'll give you some more updates because I have been terrible about videoing, but yeah, big updates coming soon on JZ car. Gonna get the 240 running, E34, good car, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, fellas, we are moving. So I got the front sump off, that is here, or sorry, rear sump. So if anybody needs a rear sump pan, hit me up. I have all of the parts you'll need to pick up the pan, the upper pan, lower pan, baffle, everything. So if it's not sold, hit me up and yeah, work out a deal. But front sump we got here, and we got the gaskets and the Toyota sealer. So upper pan doesn't have a actual gasket, so you use the sealant, and then for the lower pan we have that like cork Larry, I guess. I don't know, but lower pan easy to swap, so if that cork one's not good then we can always replace it, but for the time being that's what's going in there. But the other pan came off surprisingly easy, pretty smooth removal. The only thing is I had forgotten about the, I don't know, the rear bolts for the oil pan that sit like right at the back by the transmission. I left 2 of them in there, or the pan wasn't dropping for a little bit, but I finally got to budge, and it was after I popped those bolts out. But now we're swapping on the other pan. I am gonna dab this up with some sealant. It's all cleaned up, so I'm gonna give it one last wipe down because since it's been sitting out here, some schmutz has gotten in here. But give it one final wipe down and we'll be good to go. Pop that in, and then hopefully, I really want to slap the transmission on later and probably drop it in the car because it really doesn't need much more to go in. The only things that I still have to do are get a power steering pump, assemble the belt system, and I should be rocking. So I'll catch up with you shortly. I don't really know how much I'll film. I might do a little time lapse or something, but yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so we are making progress. We got the front sump on, we got the pan all cleaned up, it's ready to go. Hardware is all clean, so those are the few bolts that I'm going to be using, and that's the rest of it. But these are the ones that I'm going to be using for when I first slap the pan on, just to have them right next to me and place everything. The directions say you lay a bead, you get it nice, and oh, actually I still gotta clean that. Oh, that's loose. But yeah, so you pretty much lay a bead along here, do hand tight through like all the bolts on the block here, let it kind of get tacky, and then you do tighten it up after 10 minutes of sitting. So pretty straightforward. Shouldn't be too bad, but I'm gonna get to it, and next time you see this, it's gonna be on the engine. And just like that, we have a front sump 1UZ. So we got to slap the lower pan on still. There's a little bit of kerosene in there because I was soaking the baffle there, so gonna wipe that down. I wish I got an upgraded baffle while it was all apart, but we'll deal with that later. And yeah, pretty much gonna slap this together, throw the trans back on, and I'm gonna JB weld. So I think I mentioned it earlier in this video, there's this like little, I gotta cut that smooth too. There's this just notch cut out of the transmission because for the headers to fit wherever they are, somewhere over here, take this, go bonk, and it hits that hump on the transmission. So the previous owner, who was going to do the swap into a Miata, and he's the one who bought the transmission and the whole adapter kit and everything, his solution was to chop that. I have seen people modify the headers. Looks like that's more of a pain, so honestly probably would have done the same thing. But now we got to do a little bit of either JB weld or something, because I believe this is an aluminum casting, if I'm not mistaken, which is a pain to weld. So my neighbor does a bunch of welding, but I'm not even going to hit him up, I don't think. I'm just going to slap some JB weld on there and call it a day, because it's not like that's a high stress area either. I just want it there to cover from rocks and crap coming. So yeah, gonna do this real quick, get the trans on, and I might throw the engine in the car because it's already got the motor mounts, got the trans mount somewhere. I think it's might actually be in the car, but I'm getting there. Alrighty, so it has been a long day, but we got the front sump pan on, transmission's back on. I mentioned I was going to have my neighbor either weld that or JB weld that. Well, we got creative, not proud of it, but hole is covered. So we'll see how that works, and now it's pretty much time to drop it in the car, so time to get to work. Alright, so barely took any videos of this, but front end is now nice and silver, ready for the engine. Engine is ready for the bay, so gonna pop the hood off once I get back from a hike with the doggo, and pop the motor in because pretty much ready to go. And then wiring, drive shaft, all that, hopefully running ASAP. Good morning. So last time you saw the 1UZ, it was on the hoist, still getting the oil pan done. As you can see, nothing's on the hoist now. Hell yeah. So the UZ is in the S13, it's bolted into the motor mounts. The transmission is still being held up by a jack because I'm still working on making the car tall enough so that I can fit my head under it. The 14-inch wheels and the stupid low suspension, we've got about 6 inches between the frame rails and the ground. So what I'm going to do is jack up the front some more, and I don't know, what stinks is none of my jacks are low enough to get under the rear, so sorry that you hear the crinkling of the tarp, but none of my jacks are low enough to get under the rear to jack up the rear and throw some wheels under there. So I might just end up running to Harbor Freight and buying another jack because I want to get this moving. I got the trans mount sitting right there, so once I get it in the air and I can get under the car, we're going to bolt it in. Then we are going to work on, I'm probably going to pop the valve covers off and paint them, just because since we're doing everything nice, might as well do that nice as well before we like wire everything up and get it done. But yeah, it's got these NP boosted coils in it. I broke one while putting it in. So they're actually sending me a new one. The head of it caught the brake booster, snapped right off. Not ideal. Honestly, a dumb move not to just pull the plugs or coils while I was putting it in. But here we are. What is up? Good morning, guys. Sorry I've been not great about updating. Got the Uzi in the car. We have been doing some work around here. We got one of the valve covers blue here. Looks real nice. Got the wiring partially done up. The intake manifold is not bolted on right now. I got to pull it off and hook up the starter and whatnot. But we got to do that. What I'm dealing with right now that is a nightmare. I bought this motor with a stuck ignition boot in the back. So the previous guy had already bought these nice dandy little 1UZ coil on plug NP boosted coil packs. Pretty sweet plugs, but over tightened one of them and he got it stuck in there. I bought it with it stuck. I knew it was there. I honestly thought that it was going to pop out pretty easily when I took the valve cover off. I thought it was just going to pop out with the boots. Not the case. So it is like fully jammed in here. I have been going at it with different methods. Started with a little flathead here, was trying to see if I could pry the lip up and just get it to like break the seal wherever it's jammed. That wasn't working, so grabbed the old Milwaukee clamp pliers there, threw them on there, gave it a bunch of wiggles, still not popping. So I'm a little confused at where to approach this from next. But I think I might try to block that off. I was kind of thinking about drilling it out. I hate the idea of it, but it's kind of the only thing that I can think of that if I drill through here and then release tension at the top, theoretically the rest of it should pop out pretty easily, but I think it's literally just jammed at the top here because he over tightened it. So got to work with that, and once we have that done, we'll have this all painted, throw the new gaskets in, and call it a day. We'll be done with gaskets. Then we're gonna hook up the starter, hook up the alternator. I do still need a power steering pulley, so I'm not gonna be able to throw the belt on today, but I did get an alternator. I didn't bring that up here yet. Yeah, it's an absolute mess, and the camera is on 1%, so I'm gonna catch up with you guys shortly. I'm gonna keep grinding because I got quite a bit to do, and trying to get this on the road in the next couple weeks so that we can be ripping at the night stage event in July, right towards the end. I think July 25th, 6th, 7th. I'm only going to be there 2 of the days. But yeah, got to get this thing going. What's up, fellas? So it's another day. I'm not even wrenching today. I just came out here on lunch break quick to take a couple measurements because might be buying some parts. I'll explain in a minute. But we have been making progress like crazy here. So I don't even know what it looked like at the last stage. I think it was still unpainted on this side. But we are for the most part wired up. I have the alternator in. We got the wires all running back. Everything's fairly routed. So we got the coil pack unstuck. Things are going. I still have to run fuel lines, cooling lines, and I don't know, vacuum stuff. So we're definitely getting there. Interior is still in shambles. I partially wired up some of the stuff. I'm still trying to figure out this chassis harness because since I don't have the installation instructions, we're just kind of following stuff, figuring out where everything goes and going from there. But definitely making progress. I ordered the flocking kit, so that should be here in the next couple days, and then we're going to have the dashboard flocked, everything wired back in, put the panels in nice, put the AC thing set, and yeah. But I don't really have time to be working on this today. It is a work day, so came out here real quick to take some measurements for a drive shaft because unfortunately people, I don't know, I saw places before I ordered the mounts that you could use Collins mounts with a stock drive shaft, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. Went to throw the drive shaft in, and we were looking at probably an inch or so too long because with the Collins mounts, unless you notch it on the back, which would make it kind of sketchy, I didn't really want to push the luck of cutting out. Some people said if you literally cut it to like where the weld is and the bolt is up against the side here, that you can slide it back the like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch needed, but I'm really not trying to shave off material of what's holding the engine in here. Because if I weaken the mounts, if I modify them, mess stuff up, who knows. People have done it, they've gotten away with it, but I would kind of rather just buy a drive shaft that fits properly, since that's really the only thing that isn't dropping in nicely. Because what's crazy is, even with, here, I guess I'll hop under the car to show it better, but with the transmission sitting that tiny bit back, the shifter location is actually pretty nice, so not really gonna have to mess with that. The boot is probably gonna compensate for the like inch that it sits further back in the position, but that's how the JZ one sat, I'm pretty sure, when there was a JZ in the car, which is why the carpet was cut and all that. So not really too worried there. I think once interior panels are in, it'll look good. But this is what I mean by it scoots it back. You can only use 2 bolts on the cross member, which that's what the Collins instructions say to do. So we're just gonna send it. But yeah, to make up for it, you got to get a shortened drive shaft or shorten the stock one. But ideally, I want to go 1-piece aluminum. I'm probably gonna end up doing steel because I'm cheap, unless I can find an aluminum one on a marketplace. But that is the bottom of the 240. She's not bad. There's floorboards, so it's big improvement from the Banana. Alright, what is going on, guys? So, I don't even know where I left the video off at. I think I was working on the car, doing something. I think I just explained the drive shaft not fitting. Not exactly positive, but we are on a side quest. So, currently driving down Route 7, and we're almost at Sean's shop. If you don't know Sean, I used to actually work for him at Chassis Harness. I mentioned, I think earlier in this video, that I wish the chassis harness in the 240 was one of his, but unfortunately it's not. So today I'm going to pick up some just barrel connectors and random miscellaneous wiring things to clean up the wiring harness a little bit, and to wire in the few things I do need, because I need to tap into the ignition barrel for starter power and or signal and I believe alternator. But yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna grab some connectors, and I will catch up with you shortly. If he's chilling, might walk around the shop with the camera on and show you a few things that he's up to, because always cool things going on behind the scenes there. Just pulled up to Sean's shop. I always love seeing this car. This was my buddy Rod's back in high school. We did a muffler delete on it, which now the muffler is back on, which is definitely a good thing. But yeah, Sean definitely has taken care of this car. He did M trim all around. He did, yeah, it's got like the M striped seats in it. I believe, I seem to remember this car having a tan interior. I could definitely be wrong, but yeah, he made this thing look very nice. All right, so we just popped by Sean's for a little bit to grab some wiring connectors, and yeah, he's got a sick shop. But as I mentioned in my video, the harness was not done correctly. This is what like a nice one looks like. So it's all labeled. It's got little grommets there. But yeah, this is ideally, I'll probably end up just buying one off Sean at some point, but this is the setup right here.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, and this is his wiring cart that he home makes everything on, and he tests it all. It's sick work. He's a beast.
Yo.
He just made FC harnesses, so if you need RX-7 harness, hit him up. Or he said he's gonna sell the shell soon too, so if you need a FC shell, blue interior, LSD.
Yep. Full rear end, power steering rack, uncracked dashboard, clean doors. So
Get it with a harness, and then you're at Lock City. What is up? Welcome back. It is another day. We secured the wiring stuff from Sean, which means today we're doing some wiring. Honestly, really not a whole ton. Trying to figure out what the hell is going on in here.
It's an absolute rat's nest. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know. I got some stuff wired up. We're gonna worry about that probably tomorrow. Got kind of fed up with it, so now well, I guess I could open this back up, but now we are hooking up the clutch line. So I got the master hooked up down there, got the clutch line all run, I got fluid already in the reservoir over there, and now I'm gonna actually unbolt the slave cylinder back from the transmission, even though I just bolted it on. I was mainly just looking for hardware. And I'm gonna do a little bench bleed, and then hopefully we have clutch pressure and one step closer. Now we have clutch. So that's big hype. We got the clutch, we got transmission's good to go. As I shift in a second to try to show you shifting around, but it shifts. So now we got to get drive shaft, we got to finish up wiring, we got to flock the dash. So I'm going to show the flocking later. That's probably going to be the end of this video, honestly. Got a little HUD unit, bonk, that'll sit like right there, nice. I don't know if I showed, so last time you saw the dash in the car had this cut up cluster. This one, real nice. The only thing is the buttons are a little faded, so I might try to, actually never mind, this one's missing the buttons, so I'll leave this one there. Not that they're actually going to do anything. They don't even click or anything. I don't know what those do. Maybe that just lights up. First time 240 on our things. But so cluster, we got to put the dash in. I really want to finish up the wiring and everything before I put the dash in, because as you can see, it's an absolute pigsty. So trying to clean that up, make it look nice, and we're gonna go from there. But I'll catch up with you shortly. I'm gonna take Bim on a walk because it is getting late in the day. It is hot though. All of a sudden it got like 85 degrees out of nowhere. So I was hoping it would cool down a little bit, but it doesn't really seem like the case. We might just tough it out. It's a good day to be an S13. So I've made a ton of progress on this thing. I haven't really caught you up in a minute. Put the chrome wheels on the E36 just for, you know, messing around, seeing what they look like. But yeah, these wheels are pretty bent, so I'm probably gonna end up getting rid of them because don't need bent wheels to run as burners because I don't have a BMW drift car currently. Gonna try to bring these wheels back. So I sanded them down a very long time ago. Got this one somewhat almost back to polish, but we burned through the chrome, so they pretty much need to get refinished to look decent. But that's not what this video is about. I'm gonna pop the tent up, pull the cover back, and show you a little bit of what has been going on, because I sanded the whole car down, and yeah, you'll see in a sec. All right, and as you can see, got rid of the Nardo gray. We sanded it down. As you can see, definitely have to go over it and get all the fine spots, take off the trims here, get nice and close. But did the bulk of it last weekend. I think I showed you, maybe, actually no, I don't think I had my GoPro out here at all. But yeah, I'm gonna go back over it again with a finer grit and make sure I get the spots better, because there's definitely a few spots that need to be hit again. But this was just a quick afternoon sanding job, and came out not the worst. Other thing I have to do, trim these for fitment and get those to actually sit on the body correctly, because currently they look like doo-doo, but I got faith with a little bit of work we can make them look okay. I don't think they're gonna be the best, but I have more faith in them than when I originally put them on, after messing around with like some of the mounting stuff. But interior, we got the correct seat brackets. I just have to shift the seat over on this one, because currently it's hitting the handbrake. So if we slide that over, I think the seat's gonna fit. I think it may be a little off center, but whatever. Unfortunately, the previous owner had welded the handbrake thing onto the trans tunnel, so I may end up grinding it down, popping it over to the other side, because I do like having the handbrake in, not the way, pretty much out of mind, or out of sight, out of mind.
because I don't really use the handbrake that much. Maybe with having one in the car, I'll get used to using it more, but I don't know. I never even had a handbrake in the yellow car, so I'm only really used to flicking it and using the momentum and everything. But engine bay, I don't think a whole ton has changed since I last showed you. I did get a radiator, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Unfortunately, it seems like it's like a hair too tall. Maybe if I adjust these hood mounts, maybe it'll be right, but I don't know. When I popped it in last night, I didn't have much faith, but I'm gonna tinker with that. I'll catch up with you once Doug gets here, and I think more of the fellas are coming. I don't really know exactly who is actually coming, but yeah, we're gonna grind on this, try to get the wiring all set, and then once the wiring is good, we'll be able to put the dash in. Interior is gonna come together. I got to throw in the passenger bucket seat. That one is mounted on the bracket in the garage, but as you can see, there's a whole bunch of crap over here, and I wanted to vacuum up the floor and everything before I threw it in, and we had people coming over last night, so I didn't have time to do that. But today's another day, got time to do that, so I'm probably going to start the day off with that, and then once Doug gets here, we'll get the wiring knocked out, and we should be looking pretty good. But yeah, I'll catch up with you in a few. I forgot to post pretty much, or forgot to record pretty much all day, but we finished wiring, figured out a bunch of random little things, got pretty much everything hooked up, got the pulleys going, we got the belt on order, we got random things in the mail, but we just went to start it up, and unfortunately this might be seized. I really don't know. I'm going to pull the plugs in a few minutes, or probably later tomorrow. It's hot out and I'm tired, but see if those have signs of corrosion and potentially like cylinder seized up. If that's the case, dump some ATF down there. The fellows were also saying that potentially it could be too long of flywheel bolts, which I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like the previous owner of this motor didn't really know what he was doing. But yeah, we got the wiring all dialed in, everything's good to go, so that's a huge win. Shout out Doug, the homie, absolutely cooked on the wiring. So I still got to wire in the fuel pump and the fans, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna swap the battery position over here just because I don't like the idea of it sitting right above the exhaust, and other than that, we're making pretty good progress other than potentially a seized motor. So yeah, fun times. Time to do some more diagnosis. All right, so it's a little bit later, same day. I'm gonna pull the plugs, spray some 10 training oil down there, probably let it sit overnight and not really do anything else for tonight, but I'm gonna do that, and then tomorrow after work I'm gonna pull the trans off, make sure, well, first I'm gonna try to crank it. If it cranks after I put the penetrating oil in, obviously we're gonna have to change the oil again and go from there. But could just be a stuck ring. If that is the case, gonna have to cycle the oil a bunch of times. It's gonna suck, gonna cost a lot of money, but I guess it is better than the alternative. Well, I don't even know if it's better than the alternative, because the alternative might even be the adapter kit just has too long of a flywheel bolt, so it could just be jamming up in there. But I don't know, time to start diagging. The guy I bought this motor from is actually being pretty cool about it, so he was like, I don't know, spun good when I had it, and I didn't bring tools the day that I bought it, which was dumb, but I did put a socket on there at one point, and I tried to give it like a little spin, and it seemed like it went, and today it even cranked, like it lurched forward a little bit, and as soon as it went, then it seized up or whatever happened. So I don't know. Not ideal situation, but we got 2 more weekends until Invitational, so this thing might go to Invitational looking like a sanded piece of crap on some 4-lug watts, but I mean the wheels aren't bad, watts are pretty sick, but the ideal setup is going to be yellow with chrome, and the watts aren't chrome, so we got plans. But first we got to get this running, so I'll catch up in a minute once I get these all popped out and see what it looks like. Still no movement.
Gonna put some more in there and let it sit overnight. Probably let it sit till tomorrow afternoon. If it doesn't crank after work, I honestly already have a replacement motor lined up. So I might just go grab that tomorrow night after work. We'll see. Not stoked on this, but honestly, kind of my own fault for not doing more checking. I should have pulled the spark plugs, looked at stuff before buying the motor, honestly. But now we're here, so we got to make it work. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end it here so that we can start a fresh video, and this will be let's say the end of part 1 of building this thing, because yeah, there's definitely gonna be a part 2. Yeah, I guess we'll either start with good news or bad news in the next video, but until then, peace.
Good times with the bros and the shit, and we roll with the cars, and it goes like, I don't wanna be lonely tonight. Don't wanna be lonely tonight. Don't wanna be lonely, so I spend some time with my homies. I don't wanna be lonely tonight. Don't wanna be lonely tonight. Don't wanna be lonely, so I go and spend some time with my motherfucking homies.